Geometric. I'll go back to Cheyenne because she answered this one so perfectly earlier today. What makes it geometric?
When the pattern is like going up by all the pattern environment.
So again, we're repeatedly multiplication or division. And that thing that we're multiplying by or dividing by, that's called the common ratio. So unlike with arithmetic where it was a common difference, this is a common ratio represented by the letter R. So this value that you're multiplying and dividing by, that's the letter R. So here's our sequence. 5, negative 15, 45, negative 135. What is my common ratio? Morgan? Negative 3. Okay, so I'm multiplying by negative 3 every time. 5 negative 3 times negative 3, right? So therefore, our common ratio is negative 3. So your formulas look a little bit stranger here for geometric. But again, that's why I want you guys to use your notes. We're going to write down those formulas. So we have the recursive, and we have explicit. And there's almost no difference whatsoever. So a very slight difference in the way that they're written. So let's do our recursive. We know that a sub 1 is 5. We know that r is negative 3. So if we go back to the template for recursive, you're always going to have a sub n is equal to the a sub n minus 1 times r. What's my r here on this problem? 3. And then you gotta say where you're starting at. With a sub 1 equal to 5. Okay. And that's basically how you write the recursive formula. So if you use recursive, you always have to have a starting point. So you do your first term, because you use your first term to get the second term. You can use that to get your third term, and then the fourth term, and then the fifth term, and so forth. So you always have to have a starting point with recursive. Yes, Cheyenne?
So if you're trying to find like a different term in like the sequence, where would you plug in like the number?
Okay, so if I actually want to figure this out, we'll just insert a page real quick here. Alright, so let's use our formula. We have a sub n equals, I'm going to bring the r out front, negative 3 times a sub n minus 1. And you're told that a sub 1 is 5. And let's say I want you to find the 7th term. Okay? What this tells you to do is a sub 2, based on this formula, a sub 2 is the negative 3, and then the times previous term, which is a sub 1. So what was a sub 1? It's 5. Negative 3 times 5, negative 15. When I go down to a sub 3, it's going to be negative 3 times a sub 2, which is then negative 3 times negative 15, which then gives me negative 45, or positive 45. So that kind of makes sense how we're using the formula there and listing it out. Okay. Ultimately, what you're really doing with the geometric, with recursive is you're taking the previous value and multiplying it by the r. So I'm taking my previous value, 45, multiplying it by -3, and I get -135. That's my fourth term. My fifth term is going to be -135. That's -3. A sub 6 is going to take this value, multiply by -3. Seventh is going to be the sixth value times -3. Okay, so that's recursive. That's really what this formula is telling you to do. Take -3 and multiply by the previous term. All right, so we look at our second example. A sub n is our previous term, a sub n minus 1. And then our common ratio is -20, with our starting point as 100. Okay, so any question on the recursive formula? All right, let's take a look at the geometric, or the explicit for geometric. For our explicit, again, we're right up here. We're going to use that template. You've got some time here. Take a look at that. Working global. How would I write my explicit for this example? For this, right now here. So 5 times -3 to the n minus 1. That's it. That's really all we're doing here. So Alyssa, I want you to do the next one. How are we doing on this, guys? That makes sense? All right, your homework tonight, you're going to have to be able to write an explicit formula. You have to be able to write a recursive formula. And then based on yesterday, I'm expecting that you guys know how to use those formulas to get whatever term it is that you're being asked to do. How do we feel on that? Yeah, the response is overwhelming. I feel great about this. Okay, well that's pretty much all I have for notes.